watching Sunday Sound Off with Frank Bull.
Welcome back to Sunday Sound Off. Our first hot topic of the night. No, it has nothing to do with Alex Smith. Are you confident that Dee Ford has turned a corner in his career? Have we seen enough, TJ?
No, but he's starting to, and he's starting to look a lot more like an NFL player than a college player, which is really, really good for the Chiefs. This doesn't mean that he's taken anybody's job or that when Justin Houston comes back, he won't have to maybe, take a back seat. No question. But what we've seen from him is that he's actually, over the last couple of weeks, turned into somebody who's actually been able to put pressure on the quarterback and actually make a difference on the defense, as opposed to just getting some garbage time sacks and things like that. Dee Ford's an interesting guy. If you've ever had a chance to talk with him, he's very much self-conscious of where he's at. He knows exactly how good he is, and sometimes that can come off as arrogance after a good game. But also, there are a lot of times where he knows that he's not where he needs to be and has been in those places in the past. I think this is a really good sign for the Chiefs. It's a really good sign for Dee Ford, and a lot of us who are ready to bury him may be taking a step back now.
You haven't seen the incredulous look from Seren on that last statement. We'll get to you in a minute, Seren. Relax. Mark, Dee Ford.
I don't understand where TJ is going with this one. He knows how good he is. All right, first of all, evidenced by your player profile this morning, TJ, on the pregame show. But I will say this. I'm not ready to say he turned the corner yet overall. This is what we expected out of Dee Ford as a first-round draft pick for this team. We want him to get after the quarterback, hit the quarterback, and get some sacks. And now, over the last couple of weeks, he's starting to show that he can do that. And I think that, I'm not ready to say and anoint him yet that he's turned the corner and he's an impact player, but we're starting to see the expectations of what we thought Dee Ford should be when the Chiefs drafted him, 2.5 years ago. So I'm on the plus side. His arrow is starting to point up at this point for me. I've been one of his biggest critics here in town in the way things have gone. I said it this morning that he needs to get his motor going all the time. Today went a big step forward in that direction, though.
Seren, All-Pro, Hall of Fame? Where were we?
Well, I mean, first of all, to TJ's point there, and I think this is part of Dee Ford's problem and what Mark was talking about. We do the pregame show there on 810, and TJ's a part of that. He has our player profile, and he's in the locker room throughout the week, and his player profile this week was Dee Ford. And in that conversation, Dee Ford said a number of times, yes, when you work at something, you work at it to be great, and that's what I am. I'm great. And he kept referencing almost like he was trying to make himself believe that he is great. And Mark and I talked about it. I mean, if he meant what he said, he's not understanding the word great or something because he is certainly not great. And I think that's where, again, as you are so clever at doing, Frank, the wording of your question is what makes this brilliant, is has he turned the corner? Well, turn the corner on what? Like you said, Hall of Fame, All-Pro, Pro Bowl. Turn the corner on becoming a respectable outside linebacker? Yes. Turn the corner on a guy who can pressure the quarterback when he goes up against a backup offensive tackle like he did against the Raiders? Yes. Turn the corner like he can put pressure on a quarterback against an Indianapolis Colts offensive line that has allowed more sacks and more quarterback hurries than anybody else in the NFL? Yes. But a guy that can go up against a Pro Bowl right tackle and get it done? No, I don't think so. Not yet. A guy that can play the run? No, I don't think so. Evidence, his one assisted tackle against the New Orleans Saints. That's it. That's all he brought to the game against the Saints. And assisted tackle. Turn the corner, it's relative to what you mean by turning the corner.
Okay, glad we got that settled. Here's our second hot topic of the evening. It goes along with defense as well. Do you think the Chiefs' defense is Super Bowl caliber? Mark, not yet. Getting there.
I'm starting to believe it, Frank. I'm starting to believe it now.
Dee Ford did it. He turned the corner for you. That was it.
That performance today, right there, if they get him playing the way he's been playing, it is. No, this is really about a collective formula for success for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know expectations are high that this is a Super Bowl caliber team. Is the offense there yet? We don't know. Defensively, they are certainly playing well enough to be that caliber of a defense over the last couple of weeks. Their formula for success, that one thing they haven't done is get after the quarterback. They've been able to do it the last couple of weeks better than they have before. That still needs to come along. But they're turning the opponents over. They're getting turnovers. And that's the biggest part for this defense is Bob Sutton has not used the blitz a lot this year. They've held back. They've flooded the zones in the secondary, let his guys make plays. And a big portion of that, I think, is because they were inexperienced coming in the secondary this year. But they are playing right now as a Super Bowl caliber defense.
Suren, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the easy answer is yes, they are becoming that kind of defense. Becoming almost there, and I think they could certainly be there when Justin Houston comes back to this team. Look, the Raiders are a high-powered offense. They held them to 10. The Saints are maybe the highest-powered offense in the NFL. They held them to 21. And then holding the Colts down to 14 points today, yes, absolutely. The defense is bringing it and starting to look really impressive. And keep in mind, it was without 4 starters last week, without 3 starters this week as they got Phillip Gaines back. Eventually, they're going to get Justin Houston back into that mix. And Dee Ford, I think he is a polarizing topic, but he is at least showing that he is depth, and he is a guy that can pressure the quarterback. And I do look forward to a Houston-Ford combination on the outside with Tamba Hali being part of that rotation. I definitely think they get better at that point. So, yeah, that's the key to this team. They need to run the ball and possess the football so that the defense doesn't get overexposed. That's true of any team in the NFL. The offense is going to have to do its part. But, yeah, I do like where this defense is going. They turn people over. And I think eventually when Justin Houston comes back and they can really get after the quarterback, even against a good offensive line, then I think, yeah, you're talking about a Super Bowl caliber defense. Now, we'll ask that question about the offense later.
TJ, since Dee Ford has emerged as a future Hall of Famer, obviously the defense then with Justin Houston comes back. Obviously, they're better than New England and can stop Tom Brady, et cetera, correct?
Right. That's exactly what you hit on there. We're talking about the offense they did stop. They got beaten by 29 points by the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. And I remember that game. I don't know if everybody else got brainwashed or wants to just forget. But that's a Super Bowl caliber team with Ben Roethlisberger there. So is the New England Patriots with Tom Brady. And those are the teams you're going to have to beat to get to a Super Bowl. Are they a playoff caliber defense if you want to split hairs? Yeah, sure. They're a good defense. They turn the ball over. They're starting to put some pressure on the quarterback, at least quarterbacks who hold the ball a long time like Andrew Luck. But are they a Super Bowl caliber defense? No. They have too many issues opposite Marcus Peters still. We saw some missed tackles in space by multiple players in the defense today. But all in all, they're solid enough. There's no question this is a playoff caliber team. But beyond that, making a Super Bowl, I can't say that.
Mark, we're going to start this next topic with you. Does the NFL, since you're a former NFL player, does the NFL really care about concussions? You saw Alex Smith go out today. He should never come back in a game to begin with. Then they run him on a play later after he does come back, which is absolutely utter stupidity. But what about the NFL in a concussion situation?
Well, I would have said about a year or two ago, I'd said no, they don't care about concussions. I think they care about it. The problem I have with it is, quote, the protocol and everything else that's a part of diagnosing the concussions nowadays. We saw today with Alex Smith, he clearly was concussed on the first hit. And going through the concussion protocol, they've got an independent doctor, apparently, that is supposed to make the determination. But yet, when you see Alex Smith twice today going back to the locker room to go through the second part of that protocol, he's walking with the team doctor, Mike Monaco, back there. This is not a knock on Dr. Monaco by any means, because I know him well and he's a good man and a good doctor. But if that's my question is, where is the independent physician there? It shouldn't be some big secret of who that independent physician is on the sidelines as this goes. If you want to operate and truly give the appearance that you care about concussions and player safety, then that needs to be a much more transparent process, with who those independent doctors are on the sideline.
Suren?
Do they care about it? I mean, look, I guess I'd have to say to the point that losing guys that help their bottom line is not good for business. Yes, they care about it, but they clearly don't care about it enough to get things right. I mean, when you're wobbled, when you're staggered, you're concussed. I don't know how you could. Well, he passed the concussion protocol. In what way? He could barely stand up. That guy should be done for the day. That's it. Look, is it the NFLPA? Is it the NFL? I don't know. I know this. I know their system sucks. I mean, I know that because I can look at Alex Smith and when he's basically picked up by a teammate and can't even stay on his feet for the first couple of seconds that he's up, that he should not come back into the game. It's as simple as that. And this is a guy who had a concussion before in his history, in his career. So do they care about it? I mean, I think they do in the sense that they want to get it right, but it's certainly a mess right now.
TJ?
Well, the NFL cares until it's inconvenient for them, like most controversies that the NFL goes up against. And with regards to the protocol, it stinks. But here's the thing about concussions. Nobody understands how concussions happen, how they work. It's different for every person. That's why they try to establish a baseline at the beginning of the season for each individual player. The problem with that, though, is that it's easy to trick. Alex Smith can trick it. Tamba Lee has openly admitted he will refuse to take a baseline test at the beginning of the year because he says, quote, that's when they get a read on you. Players don't want to get caught with concussions. Not only does the NFL not care, the protocol stinks, coaches only want a yes answer, but the players themselves, they just want to play. The whole culture of the NFL when it comes to concussions is bad, and that's the real issue.
And seeing him walk in and out so fast, you wonder what the protocol situation is. What is his name? Okay, what's your name? Alex Smith. Okay,
Yeah.
You're fine. Go on back in the game.
We've heard the stories. The Jets asked the same question every time, so guys got in the routine and knew what it was.
Just crazy. Up next, we're going to get some final thoughts from the panel. It's their time to sound off on anything that's on their minds. You're watching Sunday Sound Off.